Conference play is heating up across all our winter sports, and we're back for our first episode of Naperville Sports Weekly in 2025. We have 4 sports to get to, including some exciting action in both boys and girls basketball. Naperville North was the place to be this week with 2 heart-pounding games that were decided in the final seconds. Let's first begin with the Neuqua boys traveling into Husky territory. Naperville North hosts Neuqua Valley in a DVC boys basketball showdown. The Wildcats come off a loss against DeKalb after beating Yorkville on January 3rd. The Huskies fell to Abanzi their last time out after winning 2 non-conference games in a row. The Wildcats strike first off the inbounds. Mason Martin is free in the corner and connects on Nylon. The Huskies quickly respond with a layup on the other end from Miles O'Keen, who finishes over 2 defenders. The Huskies work the ball around the perimeter and find Max Steele, who is left open from deep. He gets it to drop. On the fast break, Steele finds his teammate Jack Zitko waiting in the corner, who drains the three-pointer. North again shows off some nice movement on offense. Another set leaves another Husky open from deep, and Zitko connects again. A 10-0 run forces the Wildcats to call a timeout. Neuqua seeks to stop the bleeding as David Taiwo finds Whitman Charbonneau, who ends the scoreless drought with a 3-point shot. As time runs down in the first, Max Steele gets the rock and connects with an amazing 4-point play at the buzzer. North leads 19-9 after the first. O'Keen and Drew Kessler work the ball for North, and Steele breaks open again from 3. He gets it to drop and has opened the game on fire from the perimeter. The Wildcats need some momentum and get it here from freshman phenom Cole Kelly, who catches and shoots from 3. Kelly then fights through the North defense and finds Charbonneau down low for 2. Kelly was tonight's leading scorer with 31. Steele gets it at the top and attacks the paint. He finishes with a nice left-handed layup for North, and they lead by 8. It's deja vu from Steele and Zitko. The 2 Huskies once again combine on a fast break corner 3. North leads 29-19 at the half. As the second half gets underway, Kelly wastes no time by draining a quick 3 for the Wildcats. Steele gets the rock and attacks the paint again. He gets it to go plus the foul. North leads by 10 with about 4 to go in the third. Kelly enters a different level in the second half. Here he gets the offensive rebounds, going right back up and getting the and one himself. He then shows off the NBA range, not just once here, but twice to bring the Cats back into it. Buckle up, folks, because this DVC contest is heating up. Martin then steps up big for Neuqua, joining the 3-point barrage. It's one of his 2 threes to close the third quarter. The Huskies look for answers and receive them as Will Harvey knocks down a 3-pointer off the screen. North leads 43-38 after 3. Kelly is left open in the corner and gets the rock from Carter Covello. He gets it to go, and Neuqua only trails by 2. A couple of possessions later, the Wildcats hope to go in front for the first time since it was 3-0. Kelly again comes up big from way downtown. Talk about range. Neuqua leads 45-43 with 5.5 minutes left in the contest. North trails 53-51 after Kelly connected on 2 more Wildcat threes. O'Keen drives past multiple defenders to tie it up with about a minute to go. Now on the final possession of regulation, Carson Lachlan receives it and attacks Kelly inside. The Husky Jr. nails it as time expires to give North the DVC win. The Dog Pound celebrates with the Huskies, and despite Kelly's 15 points in the final quarter for Neuqua, North prevails 55-53.
Naperville North hosts Waubonsie Valley in tonight's DVC Conference action. The Green and Gold enter tonight on a 4-game winning streak, coming off 2 close victories against Glenbrook South and Glenbard South. The Huskies are looking to get back on track after their loss to Mother Macaulay. Early in the first quarter, the Warriors show off their smooth ball movement as Lily Newton finds Daniela Porocoso for the three-point shot, scoring the first points of the game. Halfway through the first quarter, Wabanti's ahead 7-0. After forcing the steal, Ariana Garcia-Evans finds Porocoso, who attacks the baseline for the reverse layup to extend the lead 9-0. The standout junior scores the first 11 points for the Warriors. Looking to swing the momentum, Husky Sam Kelly catches the pass at the top of the key. Kelly fakes the pass to Anna Richards as she turns the corner as she finds her spot on the floor for the mid-range jumper to get North on the board. Late in the quarter after a defensive stop, the green and gold offense pushes the pace as Newton delivers a nice pass to Porocoso for the transition layup. Going into the second quarter, the green and gold lead 14-5. With under 5 minutes in the second quarter, the Huskies begin clawing their way back on both ends of the floor. North's Sam Kelly finds her spot along the mid-range, knocking it down. Wabanti leads 14-9. Moments later, North's Emma Govitis finds Ava Podisic on the nice backdoor cut for the layup to bring the score within one. A few possessions later, North is looking to continue the run. Natalie Frempog attacks the basket, dishing it out to Podisic for the mid-range jumper to take the lead. The Huskies lead 16-15. At the 2-minute mark, the Warriors look to retake the momentum going into halftime. Porocoso swings the rock to Maya Pereda, who finds the bottom of the net with her jump shot. Wabanti retakes the lead 21-19. Next possession for the Huskies, Warrior Nicole Douglas gets the steal on Sam Kelly, which sparks a fast break as Porocoso outraces Frempog for the layup. Going into the second half, Wabanti leads 23-19. Early in the third quarter, North's Frempog beats the half-court trap as she pushes the pace, which helps her find Sydney Smith open for the floater. The Huskies are back down by just a pair, 23-21. 2 minutes into the quarter, North's turning up the heat on defense. Frempog gets into the lane, delivering a dime between two Warrior defenders to Podisic for the layup to tie the game at 23. Moments later, after multiple defensive stops, Wabanti's Lily Newton drives into the paint to put up a floater but doesn't get it to drop. Following her miss, Newton gets her own offensive rebound and hits the tough layup plus the foul for the three-point opportunity. The Warriors lead 30-27. On the ensuing Husky possession, the Warriors tighten up on the defensive end, not making anything easy for the Huskies. Sydney Smith finds Anna Richards with just enough space to knock down the three to tie the game back up at 30. 10 seconds remaining in the quarter. Porocoso going quick with a chance to beat the buzzer. She gets into the lane and makes the tough layup to close the quarter. After three, the Huskies hold a 38-36 lead. First possession of the final quarter for the Huskies, Zoe Bishop finds Anna Richards in the paint for the turnaround layup. The Huskies lead 40-36 and begin to smell an upset. Halfway through the quarter, both teams tied at 40. After a defensive stop, Pereda passes the ball back to Newton, who attacks the basket, putting up a floater that doesn't go. After a scramble for the rebound, Newton gets the offensive board and puts it up and in as Wabanti retakes the lead 42-40. Under 2 minutes to go, North gets the defensive stop and looks to go on one last run to keep the Huskies within striking distance. In transition, Frempog goes coast to coast, attacking the Warrior defense for the layup and draws the foul for the three-point play. Huskies trail 47-46. The Warriors look to extend their lead. Newton swings the rock to Taylor Hurd, who banks it in. Wabanti leads 49-46. On the next Husky possession, Anna Richards gets open after the inbound. Richards dribbles inside the three-point line, knocking down the shot to bring the Wabanti lead down to 49-48. After Wabanti makes one of two free throws, North cannot corral the rebound, forcing the Huskies to foul Porocoso with just under 3 seconds left. Leading 50-48, Porocoso is at the line, looking to put the game away with a pair of free throws. Porocoso calmly knocks down both, putting the game out of reach. The Warriors escape the Huskies on the road, 52-48, following the best DVC game of the season so far. Wabanti is now 16-1 on the season.
Allie Miller enters her second season as the head coach of Naperville North girls basketball. This year, she has gained a valuable addition to her coaching tree with Glenbard East's all-time winning coach and her father, Scott Miller. We'll have more on the Millers after the break.
Okay, 500 deluxe garden gnomes. Wow.
I only meant to order 5. There's not enough money in my account for these. I'm gonna get charged.
2 things I just can't deal with: overdraft charges and garden gnomes. But your BMO Smart Advantage checking account gives you an extra day to avoid an overdraft fee.
Nice to see a bank cutting people some slack.
Well, mistakes happen, and we give you time to correct them.
So you don't like gnomes, huh? What about that one?
That one I like a lot.
Two dealerships, side by side, identical in every way. What makes the difference? The experience. That's why more people choose Fair Oaks Lincoln. Incredible selection, knowledgeable salespeople, and a world-class experience you can't find anywhere else. Get 0% APR financing on most new Lincoln models this month at Fair Oaks Lincoln in Naperville, where the dealership experience makes the difference.
Scott Miller was the head boys basketball coach at Glenbard East for over 20 years. After retiring and then helping his son at Downers Grove South, Scott is now with his daughter Allie at Naperville North. NSW's Patrick Cotto has more on the Miller family coaching tree in our latest feature story presented by Fair Oaks Ford.
As Allie Miller enters her second season with the Naperville North girls basketball team, a new face joins the coaching staff. This addition to her coaching tree is no stranger, as her dad Scott jumps in on the Husky bench this winter.
We both kind of collaborated on it. Like I said, obviously I had the opening and kind of talked with him about it, sharing the love with his kids a little bit, so it kind of brought him over to our side.
The last 3 years I've helped my son Zach at Downers South, and felt like his program is on a great footing. We won 23 games last year. They're going to win over 20 again this year, and just felt like this was an opportunity to help Allie out and to be a part of her journey in the coaching world.
Scott spent over 20 seasons as the boys varsity hoops coach at Glenbard East before stepping down following the 2020 season as the winningest coach in Rams history. He then transitioned into an assistant coaching role, spending 1 season with the Naperville North boys, followed by 3 seasons as an assistant coach with Downers Grove South, where he coached alongside Allie's brother, Zach. Now he is lending his daughter a helping hand, hoping to dish out that Miller winning mentality to the Huskies.
It gives me an opportunity to think back of where I was, and she's well beyond where I was in my second year as a head coach. So she's got great grasp of the offense, defense. She relates really well to the kids, to the girls. She's a great role model for the girls, being a strong work ethic and a strong woman, and that's what you want.
His career has kind of let the girls just naturally trust him because he's been through it, through the ups and the downs, and took a program that wasn't successful to make it a successful one. So I think his just experience speaks for itself.
The Miller family has always been eat, sleep, and basketball, but this is only the second time Scott has coached girls after coaching Allie during her feeder days.
They both bring a lot of good knowledge in, especially Coach Sco, Miller's dad. He's been coaching basketball for forever now, and whenever we need him to drop a play or we need a new defense or offense, he always has good ideas, and they're quick ideas.
This Naperville North program is only a few years removed from back-to-back regional championships and a sectional final appearance. Now, as the calendar flips to 2025, the Huskies are ready to take that extra step, while both Millers hope to get the blue and orange back on the winning track.
It's a belief that you're going to win, and you have to do things to lead up to that. But it's not always about wins and losses. It's about the progress we make through the course of the season, and I think they're really buying in and believing that.
We both got to continue to be open-minded with each other. You know, obviously there's a lot of discussion that happens outside of practice and games, and it's just, when you're a growing program and a growing team and you want girls to be better, you kind of, have to explore all options to make that happen. So
for Naperville Sports Weekly, I'm Patrick Cotto.
When we return, let's head over to the mats for some wrestling, and then we'll check in on our girls' bowling teams.
In these complicated times, local news has never been more important. DailyHerald.com lets you stay connected to your community, wherever you are.
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something. Be a Naperville Crime Stopper.
We're at Neuqua Valley High School for a DVC wrestling matchup between the Wildcats and Waubonsie. The Warriors are coming off a loss against Naperville North, while the Wildcats are looking for a win after losing to DeKalb. The only girls match of the night is at 1:35. Wildcat Carla Lauren goes for the double leg takedown on Waubonsie Valley's Sofia Contreras for the 3 points. Lauren sinks in the butcher on Contreras, and the Wildcat pins her opponent. After 2 forfeits, the match starts at 1:06 with Waubonsie's Anis Gurchan on top of Wildcat Nick Basili. The freshman gets the Warriors off to a good start with a half Nelson and pinning his opponent. Locking in at 1:20 is Waubonsie's Akshaj Bachu and Neuqua's Ash Banla. Banla gains the upper hand and puts Bachu on his back. At 1:32, Nathan Duffield of Waubonsie defends the match by putting Wildcat David Gold on his back for a half Nelson, sealing the deal for a pin. At 144 pounds, Max Ridges slides in for the double leg takedown on Waubonsie's Braden Fiala. The Wildcat puts his opponent on his back, and just like that, Ridges wins his match with a pin. In the 150 bout, it's Curtis Burke going for the single leg takedown on Waubonsie's Rolando Luno Ramos. Burke receives 3 points for the takedown. This match ends with Burke winning by tech fall for the Wildcats. Moving over to 175, Wildcat Giuseppe Caprio attempts a single leg takedown but gets denied by Lucas Pertkelis, who manages to get 3 takedown points. Pertkelis gets Caprio on his back, but at the sound of the buzzer in the 3rd period, Pertkelis wins by tech fall. The final match of the night is at 190 pounds. Zach Gurchan attempts to take down Isaiah Strange, however Strange reverses the takedown and earns some points. It was a tough match, but Strange finishes the night off with a pin of his own. The Wildcats come out on top with a DVC win by the final score 52-28. We're back for one of our first girls bowling highlights of 2025 as Naperville Central hosts Mattia Valley at Fox Bowl. Both teams have already competed this week, with the Redhawks falling to Geneva while the Mustangs beat Downers North on Monday. We get Game 1 going as Naperville Central Red Hawk Maddie Davila looks for the X, but comes up short with only 9 pins. Her next throw, she sinks the spare. Davila would go on to finish with 433, the Red Hawks' highest scoring bowler. Mustang Maya Moore follows suit behind Davila with 9 pins of her own. Moore would then go on to finish with the highest score of the night between both schools with 499. Shannon Lynch looks to join in on the fun with Moore as she drills this first strike of the night. Cosette Cannell follows suit behind Lynch and follows up with a strike of her own. Mattia Valley is rolling and doesn't look to cool off anytime soon as Abby Cott buries all 10 pins for another Mustang strike. Naperville Central's Lauren Kujat comes up with a strike to end the bleeding for the Redhawks. The Mustangs come up with the best Game 1 score at 842-552. Game 2 starts off hot with Matthias Lynch knocking down all 10 pins for a strike out of the gate. Cott joins in on the strike party by getting one of her own. Lynch is also on fire with this throw as she collects her first of a double. Moore then sees Lynch bury a strike, so she does the same by knocking down all 10 pins for the X. Now we're back with Lynch, and she secures one of her many doubles in tonight's matchup. The Mustang finishes the match with a 427 series. Cannell is back up, and she's back providing a strike for the Mustangs. Cannell would go on to finish the night with a 461. Red Hawk Davila gets the final strike of Game 2 here as part of her 433 series. Red Hawk Rose Swikowski started Game 3 with 9 pins that left her speechless. She cleans it up with a nice spare and finishes the night with a 322 series. Davila keeps her momentum going in the final game and gets a strike. She records a 160 in Game 3. However, it would be Mattia Valley's Grace Parley who would come up and knock down all 10 pins during the final game. Parley knocks down the final strike of the night as the Mustangs cruise to a DVC win. They take down the Red Hawks by 624 pins.
The postseason for girls bowling is on the horizon as Naperville North travels to face Waubonsie Valley at Parkside Lanes. Both teams have not played in over 2 weeks and are looking to keep up in the DVC standings. The Huskies start off strong as Kenzie Waddles throws a missile for Brooklyn, and like a snowplow, she shoves down the pins for the strike to get her day rolling. Up next is Waddles' teammate Ellie Child, who follows suit with a Brooklyn shot of her own that also gets the strike. Her high game on the day is a 151 in Game 2. Waubonsie responds with Mae McInerney throwing it directly at the pocket. She knocks down all the pins for the strike and concludes her day with a 544 overall series. On the next pair over, Warrior Annika Wilberg is faced with a tricky 2-5-7 split spare shot. She throws the ball right on target, tipping down all the pins for the conversion. Later on, Wilberg enters strike mode, going high on the pocket but pushing down the 7-pin for the X. It's part of a 178 in Game 3. Back with North is Ellie's sister, Claire Child. She follows her teammate's path by taking a trip down Brooklyn, throwing the ball on the opposite side of the lanes for the strike. She improves each game with a 102, 122, and 159. Fellow Husky Michelle Bayek rolls it way out towards the gutter, but the ball loops its way back to the pocket for the strike. It's part of her 150 Game 2 score. The Warriors counter with Sam Skirka throwing a similar shot that also has no difficulty picking up the strike. Game 2 is also her best game with a 192. Teammate Trudy Wayne has corner pin swag on this shot as she hits the pocket but needs assistance tipping down the 10-pin. She ends the day with a 439 series. The Huskies turn to spares from Vita Klein, who tosses a laser head-on at the 5-pin to give herself the mark in Game 2. A few frames later, Klein goes across lanes for the 7-pin as the ball slides just over the gutter, but it hangs on just in time to kick down the pin. Ending Game 2 with a bang is Waubonsie's Asia Mitchell, who loads up the nuclear codes by obliterating the pins in the 10th frame. After another strike, Mitchell lines up for the turkey and knocks down the bird with another strike, capping it off with a 202. Leading the pack for the Huskies is Felicia Openshaw. In Game 2, she takes on the 1-2-8-10 split spare shot, throwing right at the front two, which collide into the back two for the pickup. In Game 3, Openshaw has herself a game, tipping down the 4-pin for this strike and ends with a personal best of 190. But atop the varsity leaderboards is Waubonsie senior Sam Werdalak. She ends the second game with 7 in a row, including these 2 strikes to give herself a personal best score of 269. Werdalak leads the day with a 685 series as Waubonsie Valley takes down Naperville North by 677 pins. North returns home to face DeKalb next week, while the Warriors will face Naperville Central on the road.
Our boys' play of the week takes us to Naperville North, where Carson Lachlan wins it on the final shot. After leading for most of the contest against Nequa, North now has a chance to put it away on the final possession. Lachlan gets the rock on the elbow, fakes to the right, and steps back for the midi. It's nylon, and the entire gym goes crazy for the game winner. Taking another look, Lachlan locks in on the step back, creating some major separation. North wins it 55-53. We'll close out episode 18 after the break with some gymnastics coverage between the Valley and Central.
Okay, 500 deluxe garden gnomes. Wow.
I only meant to order 5. There's not enough money in my account for these. I'm gonna get charged.
2 things I just can't deal with: overdraft charges and garden gnomes. But your BMO Smart Advantage checking account gives you an extra day to avoid an overdraft fee.
Nice to see a bank cutting people some slack.
Well, mistakes happen, and we give you time to correct them.
So you don't like gnomes, huh? What about that one?
That one I like a lot.
When it comes to interest rates, it seems the Fed only knows one direction, up. That's not fair. If you're fed up with high rates, head over to Fair Oaks Ford. You can get 0.9% APR financing for 66 months. Now that's fair. Plus, you'll get what J.D. Power called the best customer experience in the business. Fair Oaks Ford on Ogden Avenue in Naperville. You've got a friend in the car business. Shop online 24/7 at fairoaksford.com.
The Valley Co-op travels to Naperville Central for the first DVC Gymnastics matchup of the season. The Valley enters off a third-place finish at the Tumble for the Troops invite on December 27th. Central hasn't competed since December 9th against Glenbard East and opened the season with a win against crosstown rivals Naperville North on December 5th. We'll start on the vault with Naperville Central's Ava Prokop. She performs a half-on, half-off and gets a score of 8.4. Now over to another Red Hawk with Alana Williams. She does well and just sticks the landing to come up with the best Red Hawk score on the vault at 8.55. Carly Finkley is running down for the Valley and she flips to an impressive score of 9.1. The crowd gets loud for the routine. Wrapping up the first event, we'll go to Ella Buchenauer, who finished second on the vault at the Tumble for the Troops invite. She twists, sticks the landing, and joins Finkley with a score of 9.1. Now over to the uneven bars with Red Hawk Anna Lovzovsky, and she does a nice job getting up on the first and connecting on the transition to the top bar. After a few times around the top, the Red Hawk dismounts and gets the third best score on the bars of an 8.3. Buchenauer attacks the top bar at the start and quickly moves to the bottom with a nice transition. The Valley gymnast locks back in for another move back to the top bar and gets it. She looks to close out the routine and does well on the landing for a score of 8.7. Our final participant on the bars is Bridget Anderson of the Valley, who joins her teammate with the same type of start. She lands nicely on the bottom bar and transitions back to the top to close her routine. She holds a couple of handstands, prepares for the landing, and sticks it for the best score on the bars at 8.9. On the balance beam, we're still with Anderson of the Valley. She stays composed and connects on a couple of cartwheels. Later on in the routine, Anderson prepares for the dismount, and it's a great one. She scores a 9.2, one of the best scores of the night. Now on the bar is Jade Wolf of the Valley, who converts on a pair of back handsprings. Later on, she shows her balance and stays composed on the beam. Her exit was just like Anderson's, and she also scores a 9.2. Let's close out the evening on the floor. Central's Alana Williams runs up for her first pass and sticks a nice landing. Then she goes around a couple more times en route to Central's top score on the floor. Her 8.9 is tied for second best on the night with Buchenauer of the Valley. We'll jump into the middle of Anderson's routine for the Valley and see a couple of her passes on the floor. Her second time around looks near perfect, and her teammates love it. Anderson records a 9.3, the best score from any event. The Valley finishes in first place in every event and beats Naperville Central by just over 10 points. Both teams return to DVC play on January 16th. We're at Parkside Lanes for a bowling matchup between Waubonsie and Naperville North. Warrior bowler Sam Werdalek connects on 7 consecutive strikes as part of a personal best game score of 269. With DVC positioning night a few weeks away, Werdalek is looking for a top spot. These 3 strikes are part of 7 in a row as she smiles after every throw. On the final bowl, Werdalek gets the final pin to drop, and her face says it all. She leads the day with a 685 series as Wabanzi takes down North by nearly 700 pins. It's great to be back, and thanks for tuning in to our first episode of 2025. Next week, we'll include our first postseason action of the new year. You can find all our highlights, feature stories, and community sports on nctv17.org. You can also find us across all social media platforms at NCTV17. For Naperville Sports Weekly, I'm Joe Kennedy, and we'll see you again next week.